How's it going, everybody? Happy evening. Hope your day's been well. As the title of this says, think before you stare. Now, the subject here is about neurofibromatosis, or in my son's case, NF1, because that's what he has. And for anyone watching this, NF1, it's a condition that causes quite a few problems, really. But it's the problems that people can see that this subject is about, because where people with NF1, they have two indicators. They'll have the capital spots or marks, it's like big birthmarks. You can get them all over different parts. Some of them can be quite large, some be quite small, but they get them in different parts of the body. And the neurofibromas, which are tumours, and them tumours can be internal or external. When they're external, they can be a couple. You could have just one or two on your body anyway, or you could be covered in them. And I've seen plenty of people with them all over their faces. In the past, I'd have a quick look and I'd be like, "Oh, what's that?" Because I don't know. So I understand people do stare. But now that I've got obviously a bit of understanding, a bit of awareness, obviously through my own condition with my family, I know it's not nice, and I know how people feel. They will feel so self-conscious anyway with this condition, because some people with neurofibromatosis will feel different. They will feel ashamed of themselves, even embarrassed by what they look like, embarrassed by their appearance. And the last thing that these people need is someone else continuously stare them, like proper, like, "Oh, what's that?" If you're curious and you see something like that, ask them. If you really want to know, ask them. I'm sure, people will be accommodating and explain to you that's what it is. And this way, obviously, it gets out there, it gets awareness, spreads what this is, because it is a condition that it's one of the most common in the UK. One in like 2,500 people have neurofibromatosis. So it's really, really common. People don't really know about it. And I think the reason why people don't know about it is because people tend to hide away a lot when their condition is more severe. You see people on the television, you see, like, obviously people, broadcasters on the television, presenters, and you see that they've got like lumps and stuff like this in the face, and that's what that is. It's neurofibromatosis. You see people in the street, you walk past them, and you'll see all over their skin. Some people are covered in them. And as I say, they probably feel really self-conscious. They're the same as everybody else, They've got wants, they've got needs, they hope for love, they've got dreams, just like anybody else, and staring at them, it can make them feel less of a person and more of an object. It can make them feel, give them low self-esteem, make them want to hide away, even. And I'm not trying to be sexist, but especially for women, because, women are always self-conscious of themselves, and they always critique themselves all the time. I grew up, with a strong female presence in my life. My mum, very strong Scouse woman. Anyone who knows Scouse women knows they're very strong, determined women. Two sisters, one older, one younger. Again, very strong, determined women. So I know how women are, and they do get self-conscious. Obviously, I've got a wife. I've got two daughters. Again, they're the same. So I understand how women worry about their appearance and worry about what people might think of their appearance. So you can imagine that, but with the neurofibromatosis on top of that, and people staring at the same time, that person's not going to feel good. That person is not going to feel, they fit in with society sometimes. I say it's not just women, it's men as well, Although men are meant to be like, "Oh, we less care. Men do care about themselves. They do care about their appearance, So you've got young people who don't even understand what the condition is. Like for my son, he doesn't understand what his condition is because he hasn't got the mental capabilities. But there's other people who are obviously more mainstream, shall we say, mentally, and they have this condition. Now, when they're younger, they just get on with it, As long as they haven't got cruel people in their schools with them and stuff, they will just get on with it. And they're just happy. But as they get older, and the insults, the stares, the under the breath mutterings, when that increases when they're older, that's when it's going to feel bad about themselves. So I think we get a bit of awareness out there now that there's nothing wrong with this condition. It just means you look different. I don't mean that as in there's nothing wrong to the people who've got the condition. I mean there's nothing wrong people who are looking at them. They're not bad people. They're just someone who's got this condition that does affect their health. It's not just their appearance, it affects their health. And people looking, it will affect their mental health as well. So they've got a lot to deal with, a hell of a lot to deal with, So just next time you see someone in the street and you'll see like people with these little lumps and bumps on their skin, it could be on their face and wherever, just think how they might feel if you were doing around and how you would feel if doing around and you was getting stared at constantly for the littlest thing on you. Like someone stares at me from my beard, a little grey bit. Someone keeps staring at me on my beard, like, what you got grey BB for? I'd cover myself up, because even now, I'm quite a confident person. I used to do professional wrestling. I used to wear little skinny shorts and that, shave my chest, false tan and all that, standing in front of a crowd shouting. So for me, I'm quite a confident person in public. But I still care about my appearance, and I still care about what I don't like people to stare. Shall we say? I don't like people staring at me. I would never like to be judged. And I hope people would stop doing that to other people, because it does hurt them, it does affect them. And I don't want that for my son when he's older. I don't want him to feel bad. My daughter, when she gets even older, because she'll want to look for love, she'll want to potentially start a family and stuff like that. And I don't want it to affect her and affect her confidence in thinking she can go out and she can probably find a partner and all this stuff, My wife, she's got NF1 as well. She's a little bit conscious about it, she really is. But I think she's still the most beautiful woman I've ever met. I look at her now the same way as I always have. And I know that sounds corny. And I know people go, yeah, you're probably just saying that. No, I do. I'm really attracted to my wife still. And, she says, I've got like a couple of neurofibromatosis. So, I don't care. I still fancy you. I still think you're gorgeous. So, yeah. So look, just please, next time you're out in public and you see people who have got something you don't know about, a condition, whatever, or their appearance is slightly out of the norm, shall we say, different from more mainstream appearances, please think before you stare, please, because you don't know how you are affecting others by your actions, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. So please, again, think before you stare. Thanks for watching, everyone.